Welcome back, everybody, to Edwin the Magic Engineer. I just wanted to show you guys what I've got for my sorcery collection, and it's all right here in front of you. And I just thought it'd be really cool to show you the collection that I've got, the total amount of investment I've got, like that's like not part of the play collection, which is literally just like sitting like I guess like right here. That's like, you know, I'm just like sitting on, which is like almost nothing. But I've got my decks right here. I've got all the cards to play right here, and I've got printed out a copy of the instruction manual. And I just kind of walk you guys through it so you can kind of see how into this I basically am. Let's do this. So you might notice I've got the Arabian Nights playmat here that Alpha Investments did. And I got to have Rudy sign it, and I got to have, you know, I signed my own mat, which is kind of dumb. And I got Open Boosters to sign it, and so a lot of other cool stuff. So I really like this playmat. So anyway, this will be our backdrop for it. So anyways, let's first go over the investment side of like what I've actually got for sorcery. I have only one alpha box. That's it. Just one alpha box. And my plan is to leave this thing sealed, at least for maybe a long time. It's not decided if I'm ever gonna like open this up and just kind of keep the cards, or if I'm actually just gonna hold on to it and like sell them. But you know, I missed out on my chance to have anything sealed product, you know, for like Magic, Alpha, Beta, all that. I got into it in '96 and that stuff was already too hard to find, so I wanted to have something. So I've got like one alpha box. And in terms of other investment, I have one sealed case of Beta. I don't know if it's gonna focus right on the camera here, but just one sealed case of 6 booster boxes. That's it. That's all that I've got in that sense, and I'm planning on leaving that sealed. I've got one box of like the starter decks, you know, which is like the pre-constructed starter decks. These only go for like 25 bucks or something like that. But I got 2 of them, so I could open one and have some starters, and then just have one that's like left sealed. The one that I actually opened is right here. Now, what I did is I literally took all the cards out of it, and I put them into starter decks. So, like one of the decks is here, but you might notice that the cards don't necessarily fit anymore. When you put them inside of double sleeved, like with Dragon Shields, they don't really fit inside of like the boxes that it comes with. So you got to do like the Dragon Shield boxes, but then you can't put all 4 of them in there. And then I got a question of like, how am I really gonna like store all the counters, these little guys? I'm trying to figure that out right now. I might try to do some little like custom holder for those. So anyways, for all 4 of the decks, what I actually did is, you guys might like this. This is pretty cool. For all the decks, you have, you know, your main mage, you know, your sorcerer is what you are, the spellcaster. And then I took all of my atlases, you know, the mana basically, and they're all in one color sleeve, and then all the spells are a different color sleeve. And I thought that was good, so then I can actually have the 2 different mana piles and everything can remain separated. But then I decided to do what I've done with like my other cards, like with my Magic cards, where I wanted to have the same color sleeves for like all of the cards of the same type. So all of my atlases now, for all the other decks, like they're all gold sleeves. I bought, after I sleeved up that Earth deck there, I bought a bunch of the gold Dragon Shields. Then I have my normal, like, you know, shiny black Dragon Shields for the main ones. So, and I can go through like a deck tech of this. This is my main Fire Earth deck. I can go through that and show you guys what's actually inside this deck, I guess in a different video. But I just wanted to show you that that's how I'm doing my individual decks. I started with the base decks that just came with this, you know, with this kit. And that's where I began, and now I'm starting to kind of customize since then. So I'll get these out of the way. And then the other thing, I printed out an entire set of instructions because, of course, I don't know the game very well, and I put them inside of just plastic sheets so I can like flip through to the sections and be able to see exactly, you know, what the rules are. But you know, still a lot of questions are going to come up, but now I've at least got this with me, and it's kind of cool nostalgia, right? Like at some point, if I've played this game for a while, this will be a cool thing to kind of like bring back out and look at and see. And I might even like go in and start like adding notes to some things if there's like a little clever thing about like a rule or something that people don't often realize. but I've got like at least one rule book printed out. And the last thing is the actual collection. Now, this is not yet organized the way that I normally do my Magic cards. It will be eventually. Like eventually it'll be like all fire spells, and then like water, and like earth, and then air, and then it'll be like all the atlases, right? And then like maybe a bunch of ones that like have no specific affiliation to any kind of element. But what I have at the moment is I just have like a bunch of ordinaries and exceptionals, like a couple rows of ordinaries probably. This is the exceptionals row. And then a lot of the uniques are like here, and a lot of the atlases are here, and then a lot of like the foil exceptionals and stuff are here. These are just cards that have been rotating like in and out of decks as I've been building. So this is very not organized yet. And also you can tell since I got a bunch of boxes of beta, like I've got like all these extra packs of this stuff. So like I was mentioning earlier, I don't really know how to store all those tiny little placeholder cards, like the burned cards and stuff like that. So I'm experimenting around with what kind of like little boxes, what kind of containers you can put them in. I've thought about like asking someone to like custom make a box or something, but I don't really have anything specific yet. So anyways, yeah, eventually this will be like all separated out. Now this is like 6 boxes of beta, I believe is like what I opened. And then I started buying singles. So there's a lot of like extra foils and stuff that have been like entered into here, like beyond like what was just in those like 6 boxes. But this is gonna get a lot more organized, and probably a lot more of these are gonna get sleeved up eventually. But like this is kind of like what I've got right now for playing out of. I opened 6 boxes, was happy with the stuff that I got, and now I'm like adding in a bunch of singles. So there you go. That's basically the collection of like what's inside there. Okay, so why did I think it's important to show you guys like all that little collection of sorcery? Well, I wanted to make the point, you guys, that I actually really think that Sorcery is not only like a really cool game, like I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm definitely getting like a lot of like original Magic vibes, you know, the same kind of way that I felt like when I played Magic for the first time, which, you know, I didn't really get like with other games that I've tried, like Flesh and Blood and stuff, because it's not the Flesh and Blood's a bad game, but it's different. It's going for something very different. It's going for more kind of like you're in a street fight and you're gonna like wear out by the end of the fight, right? And like you only do like the one game and such. Where Sorcery, like it's very reminiscent of Magic. There's a lot of things in there that you can tell were heavily influenced by Magic, and it like so just the feel is basically there. So game wise, like I'm really enjoying it, but I've been hearing things through the grapevine. I don't have any hard data. I have no inside line, like Eric is not talking to me and such, but I hear rumblings that it's not a game that's going to go down the route of like game pieces where like everything needs to be really cheap. That collectability and the value in the cards is something that's important to the company making Sorcery. So I like that quite a bit, because I've never disliked that for Magic. I've always appreciated that, basically. The fact that like Magic was a game that you can play, and it's something that you can collect. And although I recognize that there can be problems when like the cards that you need to get are all the expensive cards, and then suddenly everyone's forced into expensive cards, I recognize that's a problem. But rather than everybody arguing over the certain small number of powerful cards, what I would rather see a game designer do, and if Eric, if you're listening or anyone's paying attention, what I would much rather see you do is make it like a Rochambeau, a yin-yang kind of thing, where even if you have powerful cards, like future sets can introduce other powerful cards that like they themselves don't become too dominant, but what they can do is they can be like a check and a balance against that. So in the exact same kind of way, because this analogy works really well, like, you know, if everybody always played rock and like Rochambeau, like as soon as somebody comes in and they play paper, well, rock's just going to lose every time. But then if everybody plays paper, people will start playing scissors. And so the very game itself can have like a counterbalancing effect. If you make like one strategy not necessarily like so dominant that it can just beat everything, you just make sure there's some other things out there that can keep that thing in check, so not everybody will gravitate to that one thing. That can keep the metagame constantly like churning and flowing. And so rather than making the game all about certain rare, expensive cards, like I'm great with having cards that are rare and expensive, But rather than reprinting those cards or restricting those cards, I would rather see game design-wise other things come out that really counterbalances that. And I'm very much hoping that Sorcery goes down that kind of route. But at this point, it's too early. Like, I know the boxes have like a high price now. Like, especially the alpha is way up there, and beta's even got some like pretty high expense, and it'll be a while before the next sets come out. But that's what I'm hoping for. It's got all the pieces in place that make me really enjoy it. I've got some money put into it, and even if the game goes nowhere, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. And I haven't spent so much that I'm just going to like hate myself or something like that for it. But honestly, like, I'm kind of feeling like this might be something that's like not only like a great game to play, but like maybe something that's worth putting some money into. So, haven't felt like that for a while actually, so I'm really glad to see that. Anyways, I wanted to make sure that that was very clearly said, that that's kind of what my take is, that's how I'm looking at it, and that's how I'm going to keep approaching it. And for right now, I'm just going to keep refining at least that Fire Earth deck as much as I can, and see if I can make that thing pretty decently efficient and see like what kind of strategy I can build into it. And I'm having a great time doing it. So that's it, guys. That's where I'm at with Sorcery. Maybe the next thing I'll do is maybe a deck tech on the deck that I've got. And like, I don't have a lot to teach you guys yet, so maybe I'll do it just so I can say, here's what I'm playing, and maybe some of you can tell me like a better strategy and tell me what like you like or don't like about it and help me refine it. That would be fantastic, actually. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Talk to you later. Bye.